You already know what it is. It's your boy Bando back at it with another little episode of Combat and Kick It. I got a question for you guys. Do you guys think Kai ASAKURA is taking Alejandro Pantoja lightly? I looked at the odds. I did not expect Kai ASAKURA to come in as a big underdog, and he is a pretty big underdog, which is nice to see. UFC fans back in the UFC vet with Pantoja. Pantoja has been in there with some tough opposition, right? Kai ASAKURA is a two-time bantamweight rising champion. These are two top-tier fighters. But is Kai ASAKURA taking this man just a little too lightly? He seems like he's very confident. Maybe I just don't know Kai ASAKURA well enough, so I don't know the body language, the way he acts during moments like press conferences and stuff like that. But he just doesn't seem like he believes Pantoja has that skill set to beat him, right? He believes that he's going to be this flyweight savior. Now, I understand there's always that thing of saving the flyweight division, right? You had Henry Cejudo did it at one point. You had, which is crazy. Now you look back at it and you really regret not enjoying what you had with Demetrius Johnson. But at the time, it was a dying division, and Henry Cejudo brought a little bit of life back into it with the triple CBS, him beating TJ Dillashaw, going up, beating Marlon Moraes. He brought some freshness to it, right? And then it kind of died down again, right? Davison Figueiredo became champion. It was one of those divisions where it's like, oh yeah, no one's going to end up beating Figueiredo, so this is going to be another boring division. And then here comes Brandon Moreno, coming out of nowhere, looking like an absolute dog in the first fight, then getting the win in the second fight, losing in the third fight, coming back, getting the win in the fourth fight. I mean, it's crazy. You can sit back and say Brandon Moreno was a partial savior of the flyweight division. But at the moment, does the flyweight division need to be saved, right? I think one of the things about that division is every time we do get champions, they walk through their opponents. They make these fights look easy, right? And I think we don't appreciate the fact that these guys get these finishes and they put on good performances and they beat top 5 guys, top 10 guys consistently. I don't think we give it enough credit, right? I think Pantoja is an absolute savage. Think about who he has beat for a second. Think about the entire top 5 of that division. He's beat them. He has beaten Steve Erceg, Brandon Moreno, and he's beaten Brandon Moreno, I want to say, twice for sure. Maybe 3 times. But he's beaten him twice for sure. He's beaten Brandon Royval. He's beaten Alex Perez. Like, those are all the guys that have been challenging for titles in the last few years, right? You got Kai Kara France. I don't know if they ever fought. But you got Kai Kara France in the mix. Manal Cap's in the mix, right? These guys are in the mix, but not doing enough. Because if they were doing enough, UFC wouldn't have went and got the former 2-time rising champion. So they bring Kai ASAKURA in. And obviously, he's coming in confident. I would come in pretty confident, too, if I was a 2-time champion. It doesn't matter what promotion you're in. You're a 2-time world champion, right? You're showing out in front of the world that you can be top dog of an entire division, right? The thing about Kai ASAKURA is if you watch his fights, you look at his striking, it's powerful. It's very, very powerful. He hits hard. But I don't feel like it's anything different than what Pantoja has already faced, has already encountered. He's encountered good strikers. He's encountered powerful punchers. He's encountered good guys that are versatile. Now, Kai ASAKURA might be that next level of power. He legitimately might just have that next level of flyweight power, kind of like Davison Figueiredo had. It's not impossible, but to count out Pantoja in this situation is crazy. Now, if you look at my breakdown, my prediction is going with Kai ASAKURA. I believe he could be riding this hype. The confidence might steer him well. It could also steer him wrong. That's pretty much what this video is about. Will it steer him wrong? Right? I'm kind of banking on his beliefs being legit. right? Like, it's not something he's just trying to make for the fans to see. Like, he's truly in his head, he truly believes that Pantoja is an easy fight, and maybe he goes out there and makes it an easy fight. But I've seen it so many times backfire on fighters when they came in believing that it was going to be a cakewalk, thinking that it was going to be an easy fight. Now, he might not be taking him lightly. He might just believe that he's that much better than Pantoja. There are a few different aspects this fight can go. Could Kai ASAKURA be the first guy to knock out Alejandro Pantoja? Possibly. Like I said in the breakdown, he's known for cracking somebody's jaw, legitimately cracking somebody's jaw down the middle. So it's possible. Will Pantoja sub him? Is this fight going to go to the ground? Is Pantoja going to get cracked and shoot? Right, because Pantoja does have good takedowns. People don't talk about that enough. He does have good takedowns. Not only is the jiu-jitsu and the work off his back good, he has good takedowns. I can see him getting hit and shooting for the takedown. And if he gets the takedown and he's successful on the ground, can keep Kai ASAKURA down on the ground, I can see him getting a submission. It's very possible. Could it be a slugfest? I think so. I think it can. It's very, very hard to outlast somebody like Pantoja in a slugfest. But Steve Erceg stayed in there for 5 rounds and actually gave Pantoja some problems, right? And Steve Erceg's nobody that's amazing, but he's got good boxing. He's got good striking. And then Kai ASAKURA has striking that's just that next step above it. So he could pose a big threat to Pantoja. He could also be a complete bust. We find out on Saturday night. Usually, I'm not super hyped into the flyweight main events. I am that guy that I just dogged at the beginning of the video, right? The one that regrets it when it's gone and doesn't appreciate the flyweights. And I usually don't give a flying fudge about the flyweights. I don't think I even watched the Pantoja Erceg fight live. I just watched the Jose Aldo Johnny Martinez fight live. But this is that fight for me, right? This is an exciting fight. This is interesting. Anytime you have a guy from a different promotion coming to the UFC, you get to answer many questions. Are people in these other promotions just as good as the guys in the UFC? Or are the guys in the UFC truly the top caliber, which I believe in a lot of cases are. But you see guys in different countries, it's definitely a tough one to argue, right? You see guys in other states, okay, a lot of Bellator fighters I don't believe are better than UFC fighters. But then you go and watch Ryzen, you watch One, that's a different story. I believe fighters in both those promotions can come over to the UFC and be extremely successful. So we find out Saturday night if Kai ASAKURA can come over, make his UFC debut, and become UFC flyweight champion all in the same night. We'll find out Saturday. You guys make sure you tune in to UFC 310 because it's stacked. It's stacked. Even if you don't buy pay-per-views, you don't want to watch the pay-per-view, watch them prelims. Free prelims on ESPN are bangers. If you got ESPN Plus, absolute bangers. Absolute bangers. But that's it for this episode. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, bell notification button so you know when that next episode is out. I will catch you on the next episode. Your boy Bando's out. Peace.